thanks for returning. If you have been to one of our sessions before, welcome to this session if it is your first time attending one of these events. So myself and Andy will take you through this in a few moments' time. As I said, just give it a couple of seconds to let people jump across. Hopefully you can all see my screen okay. Hopefully that's coming through. Just give it a few moments. We had a fair few registrations for this event, so a lot of interest in Project for the Web intermediate workshop. Yeah, we'll jump straight in. So just kind of agenda for today's session then. So this one is joined by Andy Willis. So and thank you to Andy for joining us from Microsoft. So I'll pass over to Andy in a few moments time to give us an introduction. I'll do the standard kind of iCoTech introduction. Sorry if you've been to one of our webinars before. I will just repeat our standard opening pitch of who we are, what we do, and yeah, what we focus on. And then we'll just go through a few slides on Project for the Web and the technologies that we're going to talk about today. And then I've tried to pick up some advanced features from Project for the Web, some of the features that potentially you may not know about if you're a user of that solution. We'll go through the Power BI content pack. We'll do a bit of resource management. So there's a resource management feature in Project for the Web, which I'll show you. Although it's quite light for now, but you know, I'll just take you through that. And using Project for the Web in Teams as well. And there's a cool couple of tricks at the end of it as well that we found over the last few days of playing around with the solution. So there's a few little cool little tricks that I'd like to show you at the end of it. But what I'd like to do first of all, before I kind of hand over to Andy, is could anybody just put into the meeting chat, I guess it's a bit of narrative as to what you're looking or hoping to get from today's webinar. So just put a little bit of a couple of sentences of what you're looking to achieve or get or learn from today's webinar. That would just help us frame, I guess, the content as we go through to the next few parts of the webinar itself. So with that said, Andy, can I pass over to you, mate? That's all right.
Yes, thank you, Joel. Thank you for the invitation to speak here. So, ladies and gents, just to introduce myself, Andy Willis. I've been involved with Microsoft now for just over 7 years. I actually kind of came from the partner community prior to joining Microsoft and working in this project space. My role is a kind of project solution specialist. So I sit within the modern work team here within Microsoft with a pure focus on kind of project and portfolio management. And really here to pick up any of the Microsoft related questions here today. So we work very, very closely with our partner community. So any questions at the end of the session, please, I look forward to helping with those and picking those questions up. Thank you, Joel.
Cool. Thanks, Andy. Yeah, if there's any questions that come through at the end that I can't answer, then Andy, I'll be utilising your skills to help us through those. But again, as always, if we can't answer the questions that you put into the meeting chat or we talk through, then of course we'll take those questions away and ask the technical team for those answers and go from there. So thank you for Emma and Shabash as well. What to use Project for the Web for? Great stuff. Thanks for putting those in. Project for the Web integrates with Teams, cool, and how to use multiple people. Love that. Thank you very much. No worries, Emma. Thanks for your yeah, of course we will share the recording afterwards, and I'm sure this will land on YouTube at some point as well. So yeah, if you haven't been to one of our events before, then do just subscribe to us on YouTube, and all of these events get published on there. We've got, I think, over 300 followers now, which is really great and exciting to see. So obviously people like to see the content in Project for the Web, which is great. So just another quick question, if I may, just to understand, I guess, the audience from today's session. Could you just let me know what level of experience you have in Project for the Web? Just none, basic, or advanced? Just simply just put one word in there, and just it allows me just to understand if we are kind of none at all. Great stuff. Thanks, Owen. Cool. It just helps with me taking you through these things. So we've got a few none users, one intermediate. That's fantastic. Thanks for basic. Cool. So that's great. So we've got quite a kind of some people that have never used Project for the Web before, and some that are more intermediate. So what I'll do then is I'll skim over some of the more basic features as well, and try and give us a blend of the basic functionality in the tool, but also showing you some of those. Cool. Thank you very much, everybody, for putting that in there. It's really, really much appreciated. And then, cool. let's just jump straight into it. So just the background on iCoTech, which you guys fill that out for me, which is much appreciated. Thank you for those replies. iCoTech are a Microsoft Gold partner. We specialize in project portfolio management, but most of the things we do now is in the Power Platform. So we're building project portfolio management solutions using Project for the Web, Power BI, and the Power Platform. And it's all based on our consultative engagement approach. So we offer quite a unique way of engaging with our customers through a series of waves and scoping deliverables in an agile approach to delivering you the outcomes that you need. 90% of our projects that we are working on are with, public and private sector organizations here in the UK, and they're delivering project portfolio management solutions in the Power Platform, utilizing Project for the Web and Power BI. All right. Some of our clients today, we're really proud to have ACAS, Betty's and Taylors, Bays, IPO, DEFRA, ONS, OCC, Oxfordshire County Council, and Learning Disabilities Wales, just to name a few of our customers. I think we've put all of them on there. The slide would look too messy. But we do work with a lot of great organisations across the UK who do some fantastic things for their communities and their customers. So we're really privileged and honoured to work with those organisations. And yeah, as I say, majority of the work we do is project portfolio management. That is it. That's all I'm doing. No more sales pitch stuff. I know who we are. You don't care. You just want to know about Project for the Web. So introduction/overview for Project for the Web. So if you are quite new to it and haven't used it before, I hope these slides just set the scene. There's a number of different tools available in the Microsoft ecosystem for project management. You could use Excel. I won't go into too much detail. There's an app called To Do. This slide is a bit old now, so I don't know if To Do is still around, but you can use Planner as well for project management and task activity management. And then a few people in the chat were talking about Project Desktop. So yeah, Project Desktop is a great product. It's a really, really powerful product, and it's great for managing schedules. It's managing local resources. I mean, I've used Microsoft Project, and I've been a project practitioner now for many years, and I still don't know all the functionality that's available in Project Desktop. It's a really powerful tool, and if you've got one or two projects to manage across your portfolio, probably Project Desktop is a good place to start. On the right hand side there is Project Online. Now Project Online is a project enterprise project management solution, and this uses the SharePoint technology within Microsoft 365 and allows you to combine, aggregate, kind of put all the project plans, all the project schedules into one place. But it uses Project Desktop. So when you click on open the project plan in Project Online, you're actually downloading the Project Desktop file onto your machine, editing it locally, and then publishing it back up to the reporting server. That's all really great stuff. But then there's this new kid on the block, which is Project for the Web. All right. Project for the Web is based on the more modern architecture, and it's more linked with the Power Platform. So we're able to do some I guess more powerful things with that solution. But it is great for managing light project plans, as we'll see later on. But it is, as Andy will refer to later, being heavily invested in across Microsoft, and the roadmap is fantastic. And here at iCoTech, we're really excited to see and to be a part of the journey for Project for the Web. Almost, I think, overtaking Project Online in its capability and functionality in the next couple of years. So yeah, we're really excited to be a part of that journey. But that's just a little bit of a background on the kind of tools that are available for project portfolio management in Microsoft 365. At any point, if you have any questions, please do drop them in the meeting chat. I'll be happy to answer any questions on any of these things that I walk you through the session today. So as I referred to earlier, is Microsoft Project for the Web part of the Power Platform? Probably not, but it's very much built in the same ecosystem, and we're able to utilize the power of the Power Platform to leverage and to build project portfolio management solutions. So Project for the Web in itself, if you hit project.microsoft.com and log in with a 365 license, yes, you would be, correct and say it's quite a simple, a light project management solution. But as soon as you bolt that in with the Power Platform, it becomes a whole different beast in itself. And I'll show you some of the technology and some of the functionalities available with that integration capability in a short while. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I guess this slide was written by me a long time ago, taking component parts of the Microsoft kind of pictures and diagrams, but effectively this is how I see portfolio management and the technology. So in a different way across the Microsoft ecosystem, or Microsoft 365 more specifically. So on the left hand side here we have Project Online the desktop client. So this is the kind of the desktop client here that you referred to in the chat. You know, you're probably building 1,000 line schedules. It looks like this, and you're able to store those files locally. Then you've got Project Online over here, which is you're able to connect those project plans up to the Project Online environment using PWA or Project Web App. And that Project Online, as I referred to earlier, is using the SharePoint Online content database in the background. So all your risks, your issues, your actions, your decisions, your dependencies, deliverables, they're all managed in a series of SharePoint lists associated to each project site. So you can kind of see how that works. But Power BI data for the users, right? Then you've got Project for the Web, which sits alongside Project Online in that kind of ecosystem, but it's based on that newer technology. And then you've got roadmaps as well, which is this picture on the right hand side, which is this ability to create a helicopter view. So you might not have roadmaps enabled. I think roadmaps is a different kind of tick in the admin center for enabling Project for the Web. So if you don't have roadmaps enabled, then drop an email to your IT department and see how you get that enabled, because that's a really good tool for giving you a helicopter view across Project for the Web, Project Online, and DevOps as well into one place. And you can all access those services using project.microsoft.com here. All right. So with that, then the last piece of the jigsaw puzzle, I guess, is the Power Apps platform, where we're able to build project management solutions around the outside of Project for the Web. So we're able to build risk logs, issue logs, lesson logs, any log you want. I've seen them all. You can build them all in that system, and then you can use Power BI then to pull the data from both Project Online, and the Power Platform architecture, Project for the Web as well, and any other source you want as well. We've got many customers that have got Power BI sit in the middle of this sphere of data coming into it from different technology solutions, which is really great to see. Cool. So Project for the Web, this is just my view, I think, before I jump into it, on what you could use Project for the Web for versus the kind of Power Platform technology, the Power App technology, versus Power BI. I've colored them kind of appropriately, but I think project scheduling, definitely Project for the Web is a great tool for that, and actually really, really good if you're doing what I would call medium level projects. So, 20, 30, 40, 50 line plans. Brilliant. It's great. We use it at iCoTech now to manage our internal portfolio of activities, which is brilliant. Resource management, it is coming along. It's not the same as resource management in, say, Project Desktop, but if you're putting resources against a project and just assigning time against that project, then you can use Project for the Web for that. And then critical path management, I kind of put pro features in there earlier, but it didn't really make no sense. But you can start to now export the PDF and all those things I'll show you later on. When you do true portfolio management or program management, you need the kind of Power App capability, and your RAID logs and all those logs that go into a project would be done in the Power Apps, hence why it's purple. So try to use the right colors there. Demand management, we've got project requests coming in, which I'll show you later on. That's all in Power Apps as well. And demand management and capacity planning, in our experience, in my opinion, is better done at an enterprise level in that Power App. And then Power BI is used there for reporting and bringing out that data into one central version of the truth. Cool. Any questions at all on any of that? As I said, if anybody's got any questions, please do put them in the meeting chat, and myself or Andy will answer those for you. Right. So I'm going to try and take you to Project for the Web, and I'm going to show it to you in this context, in the wrapper of what we call iCoplan. I think it makes more sense in this app, and allows me to kind of do other things with it in the future. So this isn't Project for the Web. This is the Power App that I referred to earlier, that's going around the outside of Project for the Web. And then what we're able to do is go into a project, and we're able to take data from the schedule itself. So this data is coming from the schedule, the duration, the percentage complete is all coming from the schedule that is managed in Project for the Web. Right. So the Project for the Web component, I've just realized I haven't opened this today, so it does take a bit of time to open up, and it does pop up with a little plugin to say, I am who I am. So give it a couple of seconds, fingers crossed, opens up. So Project for Web then comes into this application here, and then we're able to see the schedule board, the task board. It is taking a bit longer than it normally takes. So Fingers crossed it's not gone down the pub already, because it's a bit too early for that. So bear with me 2 seconds. I would say not, if I'm honest, Ben. If you've got a project schedule that's 1,000+ lines, I like to. I'm still in the space of using Project Desktop, but it does really depend on what you're doing. And I have seen project schedules in Project for the Web that are 500 lines long. But it really does depend on the level of detail you want associated against each of those tasks. That's just my view. Andy might have a different view.
Yeah, John, can I jump in on that one bit?
Of
Because
course, yeah, of course.
yeah, I mean, the way that it works at the moment, it supports 500 line schedules today, but we're actively working on changing that to 1,000 line schedules, and that's due in the next 2 or 3 months. So that's coming very, very soon. So the recommendation at the moment is just kind of split the plans, split the schedules. But 1,000 line support is coming very soon on that side of things, and we're potentially looking to take that even further than 1,000 lines going forward.
Great stuff. Yeah, and I think that is good to see that, and that's just an example, guys, of kind of development and the progress that's been made. I guess, an investment from Microsoft in Project for Web Technology, and we do. I think we do have, to answer the other part of your question. Yes, we do have integration features with Project Online. So some of our customers, for example, have big portfolios of change in Project Online, and they don't want to migrate that over, but they want to see every single project, Ben, in one place, in one view. And so I'll show you something later on, which is called data flows, which is what we use to connect those two together. So, for a large project, we call them channels of change, but for potentially, for example, a channel 3 project that might be really, really big, it's a capital investment project. It's already in Project Online. They don't want to rebuild the schedule into Project for the Web. Then we have the ability to see and connect those two data sets together. So to the user, it feels like it's all in one place. It's just that for those capital projects, you go in and the task pane isn't there. And there's a little button called Open in Project up here, which opens up the project schedule that is actually stored in Project Online. So there's that kind of integration, potential that you can step through towards as well. Hopefully that answers your question, Ben. And like that, if by magic my schedule has appeared, so it just take a while for some reason on our sandbox to open up for the first time. No problem, Ben. Thank you for your question. And as I said, if anybody else has got any questions, please do let me know. So as I said, last night I was up. I think a glass of red was going, and I was trying to just test out all these concepts and show you this stuff. So this is about Project for the Web. So Project for the Web here is this board here, and just for the people that have potentially not used it before, this is the ability to add tasks into a plan and build your schedule. All right, so we'll just do a quick task here. So this is my June demo task, and you're able to set things like the durations, so 5 days, and you're able to kind of fix your start date to today, or this is going back to the start of the project as it stands, but you're able to do your basic project management activities and building your schedules. All right, you're able to add your dependencies in here as well. So I'm going to say, actually, this project is dependent on my task 22, which is my test task there. So you pop it up, and you can see how it looks and feels like Planner. So it's night and day in terms of usability from Project Desktop, and that's why I love it, because it just looks, it's a better place to be and to spend your hours building your schedules. But yeah, it's a great little solution. So you can put your effort in here as well, and you've got the concept of buckets. So if you go to the Boards tab, you can build your own buckets just like in Planner. All right, and we can even configure our buckets as well. So, configure the colors of them. These are some of the newest and latest and greatest features that are coming out. And 12 months ago, that little formatting icon wasn't available. So, this is just an example of where the technology is being evolved and developed over time, and every month is improving its capability as well, which is fantastic to see. All right, so you're building these schedules, and now we can actually add our own columns as well. So you can actually add your own fields. You can say, actually, I want a date field. This might be, I don't know, let's go yes, no. Is this, I don't know, IT task or not? So we can create that column, and we can go through and build these fields out now, and say that actually that task there is an IT task. So you can build some really comprehensive plans in here. And, as I say, we have got customers that are building, 200, 300 line schedules in this thing for more complex projects. So hopefully that just gives you a bit of a nutshell. If you want to see more detail on how to build a schedule in this stuff in Project for the Web, it's the original workshop, which is back in May, I believe, is on YouTube. So feel free to go and watch that. But the idea here is some of these more advanced features, I guess, is the filtering. So I like the ability to see what tasks that we've got on this week. So we condense in, and imagine, Ben, if that schedule was 300 lines and you just want to organize that schedule and see the tasks that are going to be completed this week, then that simple view there is really, really useful. And then I can flick that again and go, actually, give me all the tasks that are completed next week. So, I can see my kickoff meetings next week, and I've got to complete my kickoff meeting all in the same day according to my schedule. So, I can see the level of filterability in this is pretty good as well. You can see your tasks that are late. Hey, my project's on schedule, so I don't need to. I haven't got any late tasks in this example, but I've got a lot of tasks to be done in the future as well. So I'm using these filters very much like Planner and the modern UI of the Microsoft ecosystem in 365 to filter and to surface the records that I want to go and see. All right, and I can do a simple clear all at the top here. Right. So one of the things that we're looking at is the critical path, and one of the things that project practitioners will use a lot is that critical path ability. I'm actually not sure if this project's got a schedule, but most of these activities are on the critical path here. So you can see here I've clicked that little button there, and I've got all my tasks that are in my critical path essentially to go through. I talked about buckets earlier, so the ability to go and create buckets and assign those tasks to buckets. This filter pane is really, really powerful, and it allows us to I guess, as I said, filter and cut and slice this project schedule to meet our requirements or to see the tasks that we really want to see at that point in the journey of planning. All right. So again, as I said, I'll repeat myself. Any other questions that come through, just put them in the meeting chat. I'll happily answer anything that comes through that I can. One of the other great features that we like to use is the ability to export this into Excel. So I can export it into Excel. I can export my all my tasks, and it comes up into an Excel spreadsheet, and I can use that to kind of take the tasks and filter them in a bit more detail if I wanted to. Or in my experience, I've done an export to Excel and done a little pivot table and done a kind of tasks by month and just tried to understand my schedule, understand the schedule in a bit more detail. So that's a good little feature to use. And then the timeline feature as well. One of the other great things is that we used to be able to do in a project desktop kind of environment is the same ethos really, is exporting the timeline to PDF. So if you click on the timeline banner here, and then you click on the right level of zoom that you want, and then you click the three dots, you can actually export timeline to PDF. So it's preparing it for export. I believe it just downloads it. Here we go. There we go. So I'm opening this project, and you can imagine on the wall, I know it's a bit old school now to print things off, isn't it? But printing them off, putting them side by side here. These are the 23 tasks, and being able to, you can see my plans actually got a really long initial startup, but be able to visualize this data, and in the future, the ability to take this PDF and automatically send it to a customer or send it to a stakeholder would be great, wouldn't it? So you can do that stuff with Power Automate as well when we build it out in our customer solutions. So yeah, that feature of bringing that out into a PDF file is good as well. I wish I could. My machine is not liking. Here we go. So I'm going to go into here. I'm going to go to project.microsoft.com for the next one. So I'm just going to show you how effectively projects Vulkan here is in Project Fuller Web, but I was accessing it through the Power App that we've built called iCoPlan. Yeah, so just wanted to show that difference. It's the same schedule, it's just accessed in Project directly. All right, so just wanted to touch base with that. The next one is importing from Project Desktop. So if you have, Ben, or anybody else on the call got a Project Desktop file, then you can actually import the project plan into this environment or into Project for the Web using that import feature, which is really good. And you can see here, this is how you go and create a roadmap, which is that visual kind of item which I showed you earlier on. So if you click New Roadmap, again within the project container here, you're able to go and to give your roadmap a name. So this is Demo Roadmap. All right, and you're able to go and add rows. So if you're a project portfolio practitioner, you know, this is the concept of building, I guess, a portfolio plan, I think, in how I would use it and how we see our customers using it. So this is some, you know, key projects. I'm maybe the owner of this one, probably. There we go. And I'm going to connect my task or the row to a project. So I'm going to bring through Project Vulcan that we were talking about earlier on. Takes a while to connect to that project. There we go. And it's using these kind of connection types to bring that in to the roadmap activity. We're going to load that now. And I think at this point, you're able to select a number of tasks or a number of, you know, kind of parent tasks or subtasks from here. So I'm going to just pick startup. I'm going to pick, you know, analysis. I'm going to pick some other tasks in here as well and update these tasks. And I'm basically going to bring them into my board. So I'm creating a schedule board here. There's my startup task. And what I can do then is I can say, well, startup, it was great. I'm going to put analysis in there as well. All right, so it's going to bring that through. There's analysis starting after the startup phase, and so on and so forth. So that's one project. Let's just call that Project Vulcan for now in this example. All right, Vulcan, awesome. And it's going to change over here. So what I'm going to do now is going to add another row, and I'm going to add Azure project. All right. Now I'm going to be the owner of this one as well, but again, you could assign a different owner to this. And I'm going to connect a project. I think I've got an Azure directory test project in here. Again, I'm going to bring that project. So I'm building my portfolio plan or a collection of projects into one place using the roadmap technology, which I think is pretty good. And the next thing we'll show you, which is super cool, is adding the key dates over the top. So kickoff meeting with Joel, that's a nice little phase there. I'm going to bring that through. Again, you can change. I think the idea here is you're using this to do your planning, your strategic and high level planning. When it's maybe hard to visualize on one page, it's hard to, you know, maybe you go to a whiteboard in the old world. Now you build a little roadmap together with your project managers. You start saying, well, that needs to happen here. You have to do the kind of design, the HLD, LLD before we do, you know, the initial MVP or whatever it might be. And you're working together, all collaborating on this activity set to bring this plan to life. If you were going to if you wanted a portfolio plan and have that as a repeatable report that is presented every month to a board of stakeholders, I would probably recommend using Power BI just because I think it looks a bit more visual. You could do KPIs and stats with it as well. But this is great for actually a strategic and program portfolio planning, in my experience. And you can see here you can connect it to the Azure DevOps boards as well. So if anybody's using DevOps to do backlog, sprint items, all those things, you can overlay that in the roadmap and build quite a powerful little feature here. You can add key dates as well. So we can say this is okay. This is, I don't know, business close. All right. So actually, this date at the end of June is we're going to close this, and you know, the business is going to close down for a week or two in this time. All right. So that little milestone then gets added over all the tasks that you put into this roadmap. All right. Hopefully that shows you something that you didn't know before, and it's a great little tool for building all your plans into one place. So the other thing I'm going to do just show you quickly is I can't actually show it to you, but Andy was showing me the other day that we can actually bring templates now into or build schedules using templates. So I forgot what the other service is now that uses those templates. It might be Plan, I'm not sure, but where you can, in Andy's version of the project for the web, which will soon be in our environment, I'm sure, you can do a drop down and then click templates. So you can do, you know, kind of Kanban boards or agile project or whatever it might be. So that's another cool little feature to look out for in your environments over the next couple of months as that gets disseminated out. All right. So, well, it's a bit of a time check, it's past. Okay, cool. So resourcing, I wanted to talk to you about resourcing. Now, resourcing in Project for the Web, it is a light feature. You can do assignments, so you can put resources against activities, but it's developing its capability, and we're still, I guess, finding different customers who want to do the resourcing in totally different ways. So there's a couple of different ways of doing it. We can do resourcing in Project for the Web, but I'll just show you a very simple way of doing it at the moment that is almost out of the box. If you were to enable Project for the Web, this technology is there with a little bit of configuration and support. It's really, really useful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the resource scheduling app. So I'm in my Power App environment. There's my Project for the Web app there that's using the Project for the Web planning board. And I'm going to go into the resource scheduling Power App. All right, please load. Here we go. So you can see last night me testing away and playing away with this. So you can see me kind of creating my resources last night. So it does work, and I gotta hope it works again today. So what we're going to do is going to create a new resource requirement. So this is about saying I want a solution architect or a BA for this project, and it's very much in that high level use case in this example, which is, I think, where most people should start with resource management. Resource management is very kind of complex and intrinsic to achieve properly, and it's something that iCoTech tend to do in a wave 2 or wave 3 of an engagement. We don't tend to do resourcing up front because you need all those business processes, the PMO maturity in place, and the operating model behind it to really make use of resourcing, because it can be quite complex. But before that, if you want to make use of resourcing in Project for the Web, then this is the best way of doing it, in my opinion, although everybody will have different opinions and some people have a different way of doing it. But in our view, this is how we start off doing these activities. So what we do is we click on new resource requirements. So I want a resource on my project, right? So I'm the project manager in this example, and I want to go and add a resource. So I'm going to put a business analyst to do the HLD into this project. Okay, I'm going to go and request this resource is going to start next week. Well, actually, as I'm saying that, I'm thinking I might have filled it up last night. So with loads of different resource requests. So I'm going to go down into July. Here we go, Monday the 11th of July, and I'm going to make that. It's got a quick little activity of a couple of different workshops, and I'm going to make it Wednesday the 13th finish date. All right. So I'm going to give it full capacity. All right, and I'm going to say that, you know, it's probably 32 hours of effort here. All right, and I'm just going to work that through. I think that's how I do it anyway. I'm going to set the state to active. All right, and then I'm going to put my work hour template as default work template. I want a user in this example, so I'm going to select a user, but you can see here, you can select a contact, equipment, you know, accounts. You could do all sorts of things in here. So, you know, it's really about, you know, setting up the system to make it worthwhile for you. All right, so you know, so it shows you the power of the tool potentially. All right, I'm going to change my effort. I'm going to go to 24 hours, I guess 8, 16, 24. So I'm just going to say it's full capacity for a BA for 3 days to run some workshops in theory, and go and create my high level design or my high level requirements, just make it more plausible. Business analysts doing their requirements. All right, so I'm going to go to the project. I'm going to say this is actually for the project Vulcan. Doesn't really matter what project is for. Let's do Azure Active Directory. I've already had one wobbly this afternoon, so I don't want another. So I'm going to go with what I was trying last night, which is Azure Active Directory. All right. This is, you're able to kind of use your geomap in scheduling boards in the future, so I'd leave that for now. But this is the ability to kind of say, actually, this resource, this equipment is in this city or this location, and so on and so forth. All right. So I'm going to save that now. All right, it's gonna create a resource request, he says, he hopes, with more buttons up here. Cool, that's great. In the future, you can, depending on your requirement, and you can see the capability it has here, you can do things like defining your skills of your roles. So whether it's Power Platform or maybe I don't know, a different product set out there, Azure, and you want to assign proficiencies against roles. So you can say, actually, this person needs to be really, really proficient at Power Platform, or another technology. All right. And then roles, this is where you're able to add your kind of your role in the future, so say BA or whatever it might be, if you wanted to do this level of detail. All right, so but for now I'm going to keep this quite simple, although I've just realized that it's gone to 1 day here. So that was one of the things that was playing with me in this environment last night. It was defaulting back to 1 day duration, which was breaking it a little bit. So well, fingers crossed, but I'll plant that little warning that it might not work as I intended to, but we'll go forward nonetheless. So it's submitting the request. I'm saying actually go to submit this request into the organization, the resource manager. I said, I really need a BA for 3 days, please. All right, but the system's saying 1, but it'll go into the system now, and you'll see this little note is being added here in this timeline. And again, we can talk to the resource owner, the resource manager, and say, actually, do you want Tom? Do you want Jim? You can have that narrative in this timeline feature in the future. And if you've got a massive resource organization with thousands of users, of course, you can do your resource preferences and your preferred organizational units as well. So that's all. You can configure the solution to do that. You can even recall your request, and you can do lots of other things with your request. If you've got a change of heart, you don't need that resource, then so be it. Then that's it. What I'm going to do is, because I've got a feeling that won't work for the reason I stated earlier, I'm going to create another little resource request just so I can show you the kind of scheduling assignment in here. So for that day, I'm going to put a project manager to do the kickoff session. All right. So I'm going to use a different day in this month. I'm going to use, let's say, the last working day of the month, Thursday the 30th. It's going to be, I'm going to full capacity, because I don't think Project Online still supports percentage capacity utilization at the moment. Sorry, Project for the Web, I should say, not Project Online. But I'm going to move this into 8 hours here, and I'm going to put the booking status of active. They're in the UK. Again, when you configure this properly, this is literally as it comes out of the box with minimal configuration. So I didn't want to show you something that's fully configured, because that kind of be pointless, really. I want to show you what it comes in out of the box. And I go to the project, show the Azure Active Directory refresh project. That's what this PM is to do on the 30th of June. I'm going to save that request again, and there we go. There's my resources it populates with, and so on and so forth. And now I'm going to submit my request and say I need a PM to lead the kickoff session. All right. Hopefully you're awake and I haven't bored you. Fingers crossed it's useful. So yeah, this is the ability to request a resource of a project, and then as a resource owner or a scheduling manager, I'm able to come to the scheduling board now. All right, so this scheduling board is going to show me all the resources across my portfolio, and it's going to show me all these active requests at the bottom. All right, so you can see I was playing last night with these resources over June, and one of the things to keep an eye out for is this, I guess, duration type or level. Sometimes you don't see the resources if you go too deep into hours. It gets a bit lost out of the box. So I would suggest kind of sticking with days. That's how I like to work anyway. But you can see here, Craig Norman is assigned for 4 hours of the day, and you're doing this resource scheduling here. All right, so I'm going to move to the right a little bit, because I recall putting that date of that request in for the 30th. All right, so this is where I'm going to hopefully land that request for that project manager kickoff session. So down here, these are all your open requirements, open resource requirements in that sense. And what you're able to do is click on that requirement and use a little widget to find the availability. So we can find the availability here, and you can see what it's done is it's gone straight down into hours. So what I was doing in different demos, coming back up to days, and you can see here it's then shown the days. I'm sure there's a way you could probably fix that. It's just me, just in the demo environment playing around. So this is Monday 27th, and I can see I've got this resource demand here for 8 hours of a project manager, and I'm going to give it to dear Craig, and I'm going to say remaining requirement. I'm going to go and book this into Craig. All right, so I book that request. Fingers crossed. It does come up with a little widget that says on the right hand side that says how many hours. So brilliant. Phew. It's always nerve-wracking when you're on a demo. So 8 out of 8 hours have been booked successfully. So we're good, right? We've booked that time for that project to Craig to do that project that project kickoff session. All right, I'm going to exit this search criteria. You can see then Craig has got this task now in his diary, in his schedule for that activity. I'm just going to go back to the resource requirement as the scheduling manager. And as the scheduling manager, then I'm going to say, actually, I've scheduled this. Again, you could do this in a more user-friendly way in the future with some configuration. But for now, that's completed. I'm going to save and close that activity. That resource requirement is now scheduled. All right. I was nervous about that. So that's kind of doing a little bit of resource scheduling. You can have a play with that. Feel free, just to go into your Make.Power Apps environment and play with the project integration there. And so you've got to create your project in Project for the Web. You then got to go and use the project app, the project resourcing app to book those resources through. That just kind of hopefully shows you, and this will be on YouTube as well, so you'll be able to pause it and follow me through those steps in your environment as well. All right. The last thing I wanted to do was Teams. So obviously everybody's in Teams at the moment using the kind of the functionality available to us all within Teams, which is great. So I'm going to bring my Teams environment into here. I'm just going to show you projects, how you can surface project and any other project management solution such as iCoPlan into the project or into your team environment. So I'm in a team here called Project Vulcan because I've set one up for this project. I've got a kind of channel called General, and then I've added in the Project Vulcan here. So simply all you do to do that is go to the plus button, and I just use the link, the URL link, and I copied the URL link from my destination, and I post it into this environment here. Give it a name, and you're able to bring that through here. Okay, so you can do that using the URL link, or you can do that using the add the Power App function here. Okay, so you can bring apps in specifically. I like using this little button here, brings out and brings in the menu, and then you're able to also use Power BI. I'm just conscious of time, so I'm trying to rattle through, so I want to give some time for questions and Andy at the end. So this is the kind of Power BI content pack that's had a bit of iCoTech flavoring on it as well. So this is the ability to use Power BI to visualize all the projects across the kind of portfolio in one place within Teams. So you can imagine being in a project board. You can imagine looking at all the project requests that come through the system, or all the data on the portfolio or the program, and on a big screen in the meeting, you're able to go and enter into full screen and see all the data across your portfolio at one place, or from navigating within Teams through using Power BI, which is plugged into that as well. So to do that, I'm just going to try and get out of this again. He says, get me out of it. Get me out. Let me go back into here. Why can't I get out of here, Andy? Oh no, don't tell me. But anyways, you can see I'm going to try and get me out of this view. Probably because I'm presenting as well, it's probably not helping. So that's rather comical. I have no idea, Andy, how to get out of this. Any suggestions for me, Andy, mate?
Maybe just kind of close down the browser there if you're having trouble there.
Yeah, it's just crashed on me, which is blooming typical, isn't it? And I don't want to close down Teams, because the moment I close down Teams, the moment I leave this meeting. So that'll be a rather comical end to the session, won't it? But let me go back to PowerPoint, and we'll jump into your end of kind of webinar outro, I guess, Andy, if that's okay. But just before I quickly do that, hopefully I've shown you some advanced features in Project for the Web, some filtering, some the ability to show the critical path, the export into PDF, import into MPP files, your templates, which will come shortly, along with a number of other things, and then requesting the resource as well. So just a flavor of how you could start requesting resources against projects, and a little snippet there before my Teams crashed of being able to show a Power BI dashboard inside Teams as well. So hopefully you've learned a little bit from that. Fingers crossed you found it useful. Andy, can I hand over to you, mate? Is that all right? To take us through
Joe.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I wanted to kind of share a bit of the roadmap with yourselves, really. So Project for the Web is really the future where we're going in terms of project management. The Project Desktop tool is not going away anytime soon. We're still kind of creating new versions of the Project Desktop tool. However, Project Online, we're not investing in that platform anymore. It's not going away anytime soon, and we haven't announced anything around end of life. But all the future development around kind of the project collaboration piece is going into Project for the Web. We launched it 2.5 years ago. It's massively growing in terms of capability. We've been invested in, you can see some of the stuff we've just recently shipped here. Some of the stuff that's kind of next up. Joel alluded to templates. We're just going to ship labels. There's lots of new stuff coming in. We're also so this is slightly out of date now. So just moved in is 1,000 task projects, which I alluded to earlier. Integration with Microsoft Planner as well. So the ability to actually see kind of project tasks within Planner itself is kind of quite nice. We're doing more around Agile. So we're going to see some stuff coming in around sprints. Joel showed you some of the conditional kind of the coloring stuff and things like that around the buckets, which is kind of quite nice. We're also going to introduce a team workload view. Now this is kind of quite nice because it's going to allow, as well as having the grid, board and timeline view, you are going to be able to see in a very graphical view as to what that might look like. And the other big thing is, for me, in fact, the biggest thing they're actually working on right now is further Teams integration. So if you can imagine you're working on a project at the moment, you're actively working on the schedule, you've got a team of people. What happens when you assign a work to somebody who's not part of that kind of project team? So maybe you're working on an IT project and somebody in facilities needs to go and do something. What you can actually do now is actually assign that work, and people will, in fact, it hasn't been released yet, but it will be very, very soon, and actually be able to see that within an app, Teams app called Tasks. At the moment, it's called Tasks by Planner. We're going to rename it and call it just Tasks. And what will happen is if anybody assigns work to you in Microsoft to do, Microsoft Planner or Project for the Web, they're going to appear within Teams. Now, for me, that's amazing because what it means is you can now start using this as an enterprise work management solution. Most of you will probably have had Office 365 rolled out across your organizations. Everyone's got an Office 365 license. As long as they've got access to Teams, they will be able to see that work and be able to mark it as in progress and complete without even needing a project license. So that, for me, is one of the biggest things we're asking them to do at the moment. The other thing I've just put in the chat window is I wanted to ask if there's any kind of features you felt were missing today based on what you've seen. And if there are specific ones, I'm more than happy to pick that up offline. But I've also put in the chat window a link to our feedback portal. So I'm actually working with the head of engineering at the moment, and we're kind of planning as to what goes in next into the product. So you can see where other people have already been submitting ideas, and actually you can vote on people's existing ideas, or you can submit your own. And what happens is our engineering team kind of take a good long hard look at that and kind of focus. That's where the engineering kind of effort goes. So if you want to have a look at that link at the end of the session, you'll see the top ones are pretty much where they're focused right now. So please feel free to have a look at that and vote on things there. I think that's pretty much me done, Joel. If there's any specific kind of questions on the roadmap side of things.
Yeah, is there any questions from anyone on the call? If anybody wants to put them in the meeting chat, please do feel free to do so. And Andy, I think this is, obviously it's brilliant to see the kind of investment in the beyond section specifically. Team workload visualization is going to be amazing for those organizations. And as you say, having everything in one place in Teams and that task app will be fantastic as well for that collaboration with users in and outside the project sphere specifically, right? So it's going to be great to see that. So excited for the future of Project for the Web. And as I said at the start of the call, it's a great tool, and most of our customers now are in this space and using these solutions, and looking forward to the additional functionalities coming in the future.
Well, I think the other big thing about this new platform, Joel, is going back to my time in the kind of partner world where we actually used to deploy kind of Project Online. Typically, an implementation of deploying Project Online, a fairly simple implementation, would be kind of 4 to 6 weeks. I think what's happening now with this new platform is what you're seeing is an app that iCoTech have actually kind of created, and it's kind of come alongside Power BI report packs. And these kind of solutions can be deployed amazingly quickly, and it might be worthwhile, kind of, Joel, you just kind of putting a few words around that in terms of your thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Andy. I think to segue into my kind of little flyers that my head of sales quickly put into the pack later on. Is there any questions before I do that, and just visualize and leave your plan? Any questions at all? Drop in the meeting chat. So iCoPlan for us is that ability to quickly get you something that is useful, and the Power Platform is so brilliant at allowing us to automate the configuration and build of these solutions. So if you've got if you like one of what you've seen today in that kind of in that project for the web component, then I encourage you to go and use it. Just crack on, go to project.microsoft.com. Obviously, if you're in a big corporate organization, make sure you got the license and make sure you're allowed to do that. But yeah, just start using it and you start familiarizing yourself with it. But if you like all the other Power App stuff around the outside of it, so you've got a requirement to manage your projects and programs and portfolios all in one place within 365, the advantage is that we can deploy something like you've seen today, although I didn't go into it too much detail because it wasn't the purpose of the call, but you can have that that iCoPlan for in a very quick period of time, something like 5 to 10 days really duration. We can configure that solution and build a really powerful portfolio program management solution, and then keep iterating on that. And as you say, Andy, absolutely totally agree. Project Online is a great, really powerful solution, but the typical implementation times were a lot longer, a lot more complex. Andy, is there any kind of intention to increase that? Do you know at the moment? You may not know, but
yeah, so we haven't got baselines within the solution right now, and it is on the list. And I would encourage you to go to that link and vote on that one, and maybe put that in the kind of comment field. The fact it would be nice to have more than 10. Now, what the partner community can actually do at the moment so I've got a lot of other customers actually asking for this at the moment. You can snapshot the data, and Joel will be more than happy to kind of talk to you about kind of solutions around that side of things as to what we can do. There might be some workarounds up until we get that kind of baseline capability launched.
Absolutely, Andy. Yeah, and Ben, that's one of the features available in iCoPlan is that baseline ability. So we snapshot the data, and but we can also timestamp that data as well. So there's different ways of doing things, and some people want baselining for status reports, and there's different ways of achieving the same outcome. And yes, so that's one of the advantages of the Power Platform at the moment around the outside of Project for the Web. So just in a nutshell, you're able to kind of manage your portfolios, your programs, and your raids all in the iCoPlan technology and the solution that sits around the outside of the project. And actually, I said earlier about opening projects. So Ben and anybody else, if you're using Project Online, we have a little feature where we're able to surface a button called Open in Project. Now, this schedule, this image is kind of a bit kind of a red herring a little bit in a way, but you can press the button that says Open in Project, and that will download the Microsoft Project schedule from Project Online, to your desktop, and it will look and feel exactly the same way as if you were to press that little Gantt icon on the left of your project in Project Online, but it's in Project for the Web. iCoPlan architecture. So if you've got any questions on any of that stuff, then please do let me know. Feel free to contact us on any of these things above. I get shouted out by my marketing team if I don't say to follow us on YouTube or LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook. Anyway, we are also on Spotify as well, so if you really want to listen to me more, you can follow us on Spotify and listen to our podcasts. But yeah, thank you very much for attending. Jonathan, you just had a question, so you probably said this already, but I missed the start of the meeting. No worries. Yes, Jonathan, it will be available, and also if anybody wanted a quick half an hour run through rerun, just email us at info@iCoTechServices.co.uk. Myself and Andy will be happy to talk about Project for the Web and the capabilities of the technology all day long. So if anybody's got any specific requirements, Ben, Jonathan, anybody else who joined the call, please do feel free to reach out to us, and we'll jump on a call with you to take you through this tech. But yes, it will be recorded and put on YouTube. And Jonathan, if you wanted to, or anybody else wanted to follow us on YouTube, subscribe to us, I should say, you can see all of our previous videos as well. So there's a lot of content on there that you can sift through at your leisure. Cool. Hopefully that answers the questions. Thank you very much, Andy, for joining this session with us. Really do appreciate your attendance. And thank you, everybody, for attending this session. Hope you found it useful. As always, we appreciate your feedback and your comments. So if you've got any feedback, whether it's good or bad or ugly, email us at info@iCoTechservices.co.uk, and we love that feedback and taking that on board to improve the content we deliver to you guys. Make sure we're helping you through your transformation journey. So enough from me. I'll give you 4 minutes back of your busy days. Thank you, Andy, for attending. It's much appreciated. Thank you, everybody else, for jumping on the call, and we'll see you on the next one, okay? Thanks for your time. Cheers, everybody.
Thanks all.